Message to governments across the country from the Chief Economic Advisor, but let's focus on the growth outlook. The economic survey expects growth for the next fiscal between 6.3 and 6.8%. It mentions elevated geopolitical and trade uncertainties and the possible commodity price shocks as key headwinds. Sapna joins us now. Sapna, the survey projecting growth pangs are likely to continue and, of course, a realistic assumption there on the numbers.
Absolutely. In fact, the survey has borrowed heavily also from the IMF outlook as well as the World Economic Outlook. So keeping that in mind, first in terms of the nominal GDP for the next 5 odd years, the survey says that, as predicted by the other agencies, around 10.2% in USD, in US dollar terms is what India's nominal GDP could be, and 10.7% in INR terms. Also in the US dollar terms, our CAD could be around, it may rise very gently and in a very calibrated manner over the next 5 odd years, around 2.2% of the GDP. But this is actually in dollar terms. In terms of the growth numbers, it says very clearly that the 6.3 to 6.8% assessment for FY26 is also based on the IMF's growth assessment of 6.5%. Starting, FY25 onwards, from the current financial year onwards. So basically, this range of 6.3, 6.8 actually hinges on the IMF's, estimate of around 6.5% growth for India over the next 5 odd years. Now, the CA, the economic survey also mentions very clearly that even if these variables India is able to achieve over the next, 3 to 4 odd years, it's a very good scenario for us because looking at the global context and the global situation at the moment. So, no doomsday indications that, we are down and out. In fact, the commentary, the narrative is extremely positive. And as you have heard, what really is required going forward may not be that much in terms of economic reforms per se. Like somebody asked the CA, what about the employment sector or rather the labor sector, and what further tweaks are required. So he indicated that look, in terms of the employment schemes and skill sets that have been announced in the previous budget, these are policy actions in course, in practice, ongoing at the moment. So I think what the hint over here is that instead of economic reforms, we should be looking actually at business reforms, where the industry, the state governments and academia particularly need to come together and figure out what needs to be done, how those basic bottlenecks need to be removed so that the growth momentum is maintained at the moment, and also whatever we are predicting is achieved and maybe even higher than that. But it's a challenging situation globally. He has also spoken about the China factor very clearly, both in terms of the energy transition, China being the single sole major supplier of critical ingredients for a lot of sectors, also for the technological sectors. So, the elephant and the dragon in the room is the exact phrase used in the economic survey. And this is something that we'll have to be very, very mindful over the next 1 to 2 odd years. In fact, even 3 to 4 odd.
All right, Sapna, many thanks for joining us. And the survey has also raised the alarm over disproportionate